with Bruce Arians, the head coach of the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have to ask you, how's your life changed now? You've won a Super Bowl. You've coached a Super Bowl winner.
It never gets old, brother. Being introduced as that never gets old. But, you know, finally, after the ring ceremony, we could put last year to bed and get this team focused on this year's job and put it in the rearview mirror. But, yeah, that part never gets old.
You know, it was almost exactly 10 years ago, a decade ago, that you got either, depending on how you term it, either fired or not renewed by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And part of you thought, well, that's it. You're riding off into the sunset. And I wonder, could you have ever imagined, A, that you were going to coach another 10 years, and B, that this would have happened?
No, not in a million years. You know, one storybook year changed all our lives. You know, Chuck's phone call to come to Indianapolis.
Chuck Pagano and the Colts, yeah.
He makes that call, and we go to Indianapolis, and, you know, we're driving up the road, and my wife looks at the phone, and she says, oh, shit, you're going to take this job. And I'm like, well, let's wait till he see what he's got to say. But when Chuck got leukemia and got sick and they got an opportunity to take over, it opened up all those doors that were never going to open. And I knew they were never going to open. And it's a shame that it took Chuck to get sick for it to happen. But, you know, life is funny, man. It takes some crazy turns sometimes.
But just two more questions about you that really interest me. Remember, at that time, even after you had the Coach of the Year season in Indianapolis, the only interim coach ever to do so, you still go through the first 7 jobs of that postseason without getting a sniff. 7 jobs get filled. The only job left is the Arizona Cardinals. And luckily you get that job. But just imagine if they hire somebody else. Maybe you're never a head coach.
Oh, I doubt I ever would have been. You know, I took the Chicago interview first and then came back and really wasn't even going to take the Arizona one because Kenny Wisenhunt and Russ Grimm and Kevin Spencer, those guys we all won a Super Bowl with in Pittsburgh. And I wouldn't have to let some of those guys go. You know, we're good friends. And it's like, I called Kenny, said, bro, I don't know if I can take this interview. And he really talked me into taking the interview.
Wow. So let's go to the present tense now. You and your general manager, Jason Light, have brought everybody of great importance back to this team. The coaches are back. The front office is back. Probably your 25 most important players are all back. To me, that seems almost a blessing and a curse because you don't have a lot of new blood here. How has it been so far for you?
Oh, it's been fantastic. You know, Jason, Mike Greenberg, Jackie Davison just did an unbelievable job of getting everybody back. And we're very fortunate. The hiring process happened before the Super Bowl. There's no doubt in my mind the hiring process happened after the Super Bowl.
For coaches.
For coaches. I'd have lost Todd and Byron. And, you know, so to have your whole coaching staff come, we don't even have staff meetings. We've been together so long. Everybody knows what to do, where to go, how to do it. And coaching coaches is harder than coaching players. And so it's like have them back, have all the players back to top 25 to 30 guys. Then I thought Jason just hit a home run with the draft. And the influx of new young guys that are going to make big impacts on this football team.
And Giovanni Bernard. Talk about his impact early.
Yeah, you know, Gio was one of the guys that we really targeted in free agency, and it was a great interest on his part, great interest on our part. You know, a veteran back that's a solid pro person and football player, but he gives us a pass-catching guy out of the backfield that's been there and done it. And he's been a blessing in a lot of ways because of his preparation. He's one of those meticulous preparing guys. Nothing's going to surprise him in a ball game, and it's rubbing off on some of our younger players.
Are there is there a downside at all to bringing everybody back? The whole idea that maybe some people are complacent.
Yeah, I think with everybody's thought would be complacency would be the problem. And, you know, I gave all the veterans the entire spring off. And we brought in 45 young players looking for about 10, 15 spots. And mostly we're special teams. So we spent the entire OTAs with them. Then we brought the vets in for the mandatory minicamp. When you have Levante David and I'll even throw Devin in there, as young as he is, but
Devin White, yeah.
Devin White, Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett, all the leaders we have on defense, there's no complacency. But the competition between our offense and our defense is relentless every day because they're both really top 5 in their ranking. So they want to win every day. They're really, and with Brady on offense, there's not going to be any complacency, I promise you.
What's Brady like in year 2 with the Bucs?
Oh, it's night and day. I mean, he knows how to get to work, first of all. He knows where where to stop, where to get groceries, all those things that affect your life. But the terminology, it just flows now. He's seeing pictures in his brain. When he calls a play, he knows the picture in his brain. Last year was just a bunch of words. What the hell does that mean? All the way up till probably week 9. It was just a learning process, and us learning him, how to make him comfortable. Byron did just an unbelievable job. I get way too much credit for anything that happens offensively. It's all Byron and Tom. And so now it's he can be more vocal. He can be even a better leader because he really knows what the hell he's doing.
You know what I really remember about being here last year? Exactly 1 month before your first game of the season, to give people an example of how difficult it was last year. Exactly 1 month, I saw the first practice where he huddled with his offense. Imagine you don't get in a huddle with your teammates because of COVID, because of all the restrictions, until 30 days before you have to play the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. And that's why, to me, the first few weeks of the season, I would have been surprised if you won many games at all.
Yeah, I was shocked we got to 6-2. A lot of it was our young defense getting better and better, and then Tom and Byron just working together, you know, staying in a comfort zone as much as possible. But yeah, it was, you know, I got to give our staff unbelievable amount of credit because we had to learn how to teach, eat, meet, travel differently in a matter of 30 days for the entire season. You know, we had to learn how to eat outside, how to meet outside. We have such a great facility, it kind of made it easier than most teams because we could meet outside. And then travel, moving all your travel back, not having night meetings before the game, and all those things that go into it. It's our guys and our staff, our players and our staff just did a hell of a job.
How different is it this year? You know, because you still have some restrictions, obviously.
Yeah, everybody else acts like they're normal. We can't. You know, we've already had some positive cases on vaccinated people, and so we have to still be extremely cautious family-wise and still sacrifice a lot as players and coaches and families. It's great to have the fans back. Believe me, it's great to have the fans back. But again, they are more normal than we are.
You're in the belly of the beast with this Delta variant and COVID, and everybody had hoped by now that all of this would be over. It obviously isn't over. You still have to be cautious every day, don't you?
There's no doubt because we've had fully vaccinated people get sick or test positive, but they don't get sick. They have symptoms, very mild. But again, you miss 10 days of work. So if it's our players, they're going to miss a game or maybe 2.
When you look at this coming season, what are the potholes that you look at, entering 2021, defending your title?
Things you can't control. Injuries. Injuries decimate a team quickly. Obviously, still COVID, which is a huge part of it. Missing time, missing games. And then for them, if we can dodge those 2, then I love our chances.
You want to make a prediction?
I think we'll dodge them.
Last thing. What have you learned in the last year and a half from Tom Brady?
Well, it was reaffirmed more than learned, having been with Peyton Manning, that preparation is the key. And he prepares himself physically, mentally, as good as anybody I've ever seen. but he is such an unbelievable coach to younger players, not just on the field, but off the field with TB12 and some of the things that he does to teach young players how to do it the right way. And he really embraces that. And I never knew that about him, and it's probably the most positive thing I can say about him.
And this year, who have you seen him kind of take under his wing or help a lot? I remember last year watching him and O.J. Howard. Mm-hmm. He really was on top of O.J. Howard. I thought O.J. Howard was going to have a great year until he got hurt.
No doubt about it. And Scotty Miller really blossomed. I think if you look at Jalen Darden, the young rookie, Tom sees a lot of things he likes, and trying to get him very comfortable in his role. And some of the young offensive linemen that might give us depth, helping them too.
Hey, Bruce, good luck. This is going to be fun to watch.
Thank you, Pete. It's always fun.